leaders elected. So look, I want Europe to thrive. I want them to be an important ally. Part of that is going to be Europe respecting its own people, respecting its own sovereignty, and America can't do that job for them. If you have a country like Germany, where you have another few million immigrants come in from countries that are totally culturally incompatible with
Keir Starmer's diplomatic disaster wasn't just a minor setback, it was a full-blown crisis. The UK's Labour leader, who once positioned himself as a competent alternative to turmoil, found himself entangled in a situation that was anything but easy to fix. His recent effort to boost Britain's global influence with a Ukraine peace plan completely backfired.
We wanted to have a little bit of what the European nations said. You know, they get their money back by giving money. We don't get the money back. Biden made a deal. He put in $350 billion. And I thought it was a very unfair situation.
We're not getting all of ours. I mean, quite a bit of ours was gifted. It was given. There were some lends, but mainly it was gifted. Actually.
Here's the thing for you, Keir. Our taxpayers' money should not be gifted out to anybody. He's just openly admitted it was gifted. We're not going to get anything back from it. We're not going to gain anything from it. Just gifted. Make sure you all do the overtime at the weekend, people, because we need to gift.
The real shock came from two unexpected critics, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Both took direct aim at Starmer's approach, leaving him scrambling for a response. Trump's team dismissed his diplomatic efforts as a failure, while J.D. Vance bluntly argued that Britain needed a leader who truly grasped global politics. This wasn't just a policy disagreement, it was a serious blow to Starmer's credibility. The impact was immediate, shaking his leadership and paving the way for even greater challenges ahead.
In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on its behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. J.D. was very strong on it, so was I.
The clash between free speech in the UK and the influence of US tech giants put Starmer in a tough position. While Britain has long upheld free expression, Starmer's recent moves sparked debate over its limits. Under his leadership, the government appeared to be taking steps that could restrict speech, something that didn't sit well with many, including key voices across the Atlantic. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance quickly called him out, accusing him of aligning too closely with speech controls and potentially threatening freedoms cherished in both the UK and the US. Trump criticized Starmer for failing to grasp the global consequences of his stance, while J.D. Vance slammed his weak response, making it clear that his handling of free speech was a major misstep on the world stage.
If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave. When I became leader, I said I would turn Labour around and give it back to the British people. And the most important and urgent part of that was in tearing out anti-Semitism by its roots. It's meant rebuilding trust, not just with the Jewish community, but with all those who were rightly appalled by the culture of the party under the previous leadership. The Labour Party is unrecognisable from 2019, and it will never go back.
Keir Starmer set out to restore the UK's influence after Brexit, aiming to position Britain as a global player. His boldest move, a Ukraine peace proposal, was meant to prove Britain's relevance, but it quickly unraveled. His plan was dismissed outright. The coalition of the willing, focused on Ukraine's defense, had no interest. Without real leverage, he wasn't taken seriously. The backlash was swift. Donald Trump mocked the proposal, while J.D. Vance questioned Starmer's grasp of global politics, sending shockwaves through British politics. To recover, Starmer delivered a speech, but it fell flat. The media was quick to criticize, portraying him as out of his depth. His stance on free speech also faced scrutiny. He defended Britain's tradition of open expression, yet the Online Safety Act contradicted his claims, sparking accusations of hypocrisy. Labour MPs began to doubt his leadership, fearing his failures would damage their electoral prospects. The US ignored Starmer's peace plan, Russia dismissed it, and without support, it collapsed. Trump and Vance ridiculed the idea that Britain under Starmer could influence global affairs, deepening doubts about his leadership. As Labour's poll numbers slipped, even left-leaning media questioned his competence. Instead of proving Britain's influence, Starmer struggled to maintain his own position. His defining moment became a reminder of his limitations.